children aren't being properly protected.
And the latest on the war in Iraq as troops move closer to Baghdad.
Now, today's THV at 5. America at war.
We will be relentless in our pursuit of victory.
The Pentagon insists that U.S. troops are making good progress in their push toward Baghdad. Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Brady.
And I'm Ann Jansen for the very latest on the war in Iraq. We go first tonight to Andy Pearson. Andy.
Well, Ann, the battle for Baghdad is drawing closer. The Pentagon says it may be a matter of days before U.S. and British troops enter the city.
The main ground forces are moving at a phenomenal pace toward the north, closing in on Baghdad.
Although blinding sandstorms have slowed progress on the ground, in the air, coalition forces continue to press on, pounding Baghdad and protecting troops. Navy pilots on board the USS Abraham Lincoln have flown through the storms and say the weather is making things difficult, but not impossible.
We've got onboard sensors to kind of help us keep track of other aircraft around us, but you just got to keep your head on a swivel.
Most warplanes carry satellite-guided weapons that the Pentagon says can hit their targets even when visibility is very poor. The unsettled conditions have actually proven to be a tactical advantage for Allied pilots. Iraqi forces simply don't have the sophisticated technology to deal with bad weather.
We intend to exploit that advantage and continue to take on their targets. U.S.
aircraft have targeted Iraqi positions between the Kurdish zone in the north and the area controlled by Saddam Hussein in the central. These attacks mark the first time that Allied bombers have struck the region during daylight hours. In the south, fierce fighting continues in Basra. Iraqi civilians are fleeing the city as British forces battle Iraqi loyalists. Britain's 7th Armored Brigade, the famed Desert Rats, have already come to the assistance of Iraqis attempting to rise up against the government. They bombarded Saddam Hussein's soldiers who were shelling their own people. Also today, the Pentagon says it doesn't know what hit a Baghdad marketplace, injuring a number of civilians. It says allies did not fire any bombs or missiles at that location. And there are more signs today that Iraq could be planning to use chemical or biological weapons. Allied troops say they found 3,000 chemical suits in a hospital. That hospital once used by an Iraqi military base. In New York, the United Nations is once again dealing with a resolution about the war in Iraq. This time, they're discussing humanitarian relief. They fear the hands of 27 million Iraqis will soon be reaching out to the world for food and clean water.
This is the first time the water has been to this location. You've got to bear in mind it's only the second day. And at the moment, they're afraid we're just going to drive off and leave them dry.
This aid came from Kuwait. It's needed because the Iraqi Oil for Food program was drastically scaled back when the fighting began. Critics say the United States and Britain should lead the relief effort, saying it's their war, it's their responsibility. President Bush today got his daily military briefing at Central Command in Tampa. He rallied the troops and mentioned again the war may be longer and more complicated.
Yet this war is far from over. As they approach Baghdad, our fighting units are facing the most desperate elements of a doomed regime.
The president also met with British Prime Minister Tony Blair at Camp David. There is other news out of Iraq today. Iraqi forces reportedly taking advantage of sandstorms trying to sneak out of the city of Basra. According to British military sources, more than 100 vehicles were seen heading out of town. And in the U.S., dozens of war protesters arrested outside the White House. They were taken into custody for demonstrating without a permit. Also today, the Army introduced it would soon be sending reinforcements into the Persian Gulf. The 4th Infantry Division will be leaving tomorrow. SBC Southwestern Bell pitching in to help make it a little easier for U.S. troops to stay in touch with their families at home. Today, SBC donated $250,000 worth of phone cards to veterans of foreign wars. That's welcome news to Charlie Williams, who served in Vietnam and now has a son in the Navy serving in the Gulf.
Well, it's going to help out tremendously on his behalf, you know, being able to contact family, and very appreciative of this corporation making this generous donation.
His son James is serving on the USS Theodore Roosevelt in the Persian Gulf. Well, Dan Rather will have more on the war in the CBS Evening News in 30 minutes. Also some breaking news this afternoon that former New York Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan has died. Details coming up. Ann and Karen.
Andy, thank you. And coming up at 6, thousands of Arkansans have found a way to communicate with the men and women overseas.
A White County man started a website that allows people to send messages of support to our troops on the front lines. The service is free, and Vern 6 says over 20,000 messages have already been posted 4,000 from Arkansans.
Liz Massey is going to show you how you can share your thoughts with our servicemen and women tonight at 6.
Now, first view weather from Chief Meteorologist Ed Buckner.
Well, the skies have finally cleared over most of Arkansas. There are still just a few places in South Arkansas with some clouds. Other than that, it's been a pretty decent day. Sunny skies here and temperatures in the 60s. Take a look at the current readings and you'll see 64 in Little Rock, 69 over in Fort Smith and Dallas, 67 in Wichita, Kansas, 67 Oklahoma City. All over the region, temperatures are in the 60s, even a 74 coming in from Mobile, Alabama. So temperatures today, very pleasant. They'll be a lot warmer tomorrow. Take a look at your forecast. It'll be cool tonight, 46, but a high tomorrow of 76 degrees with partly cloudy skies. So 76 tomorrow. Still looking at some storms on Friday, but not as strong as we once thought they might be. We'll detail your forecast coming up.
All right, good news. Thanks, Ed. Well, as fighting continues in Iraq, some parents say their concerns are growing. Parents in Redfield are worried the schools there are not prepared to deal with the possibility of a chemical spill or an attack at the Pine Bluff Arsenal, which is just about 15 miles away. Jennifer Whitty spoke with a parent there today and joins us now with details. Jennifer?
Karen, parents at Hardin Elementary School are seeking federal funds to build a pressurized room at the school, which would ideally protect students during any chemical crisis. PTO President Stephanie Kuntz worries about her 2 daughters at the school because she works out of town and says she couldn't get to Redfield if a crisis broke out. Already, protective rooms are being completed at Whitehall High School and at Moody Elementary. Those schools are located much closer to the arsenal and should have pressurized rooms ready by next year. But Kuntz says that's not enough.
And that's our top priority right now is the safety of our children. They have nowhere to go right now. They're not assured that the plan will work.
We've just got to make the best decisions possible under the circumstances and do what we think is in the best interest of our students as far as their safety is concerned.
Now, that was Whitehall Superintendent Gary Keys. He says the school district does have an evacuation plan, but that there are not enough buses to move all students out at the same time. Instead, they'd have to borrow buses from neighboring counties, which would take up valuable time. Karen?
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Now, if you have concerns or questions, you can attend a meeting of the Arkansas Citizens Advisory Commission. It'll be at the Pine Bluff Arsenal's Creasy Auditorium at 6:30 tomorrow evening. Well, federal health officials are investigating whether the smallpox vaccine is to blame for a Maryland hospital worker's heart attack. Since the vaccinations began, 6 emergency workers outside Arkansas have reported health problems. The vaccine has never been associated with heart problems before, but while experts investigate, they're suggesting that people with heart trouble not get the shot. In Arkansas, 808 healthcare workers have received the vaccine.
A jury in Tennessee has acquitted Springdale-based Tyson Foods in an immigrant labor conspiracy trial.
The company had been accused of smuggling illegal immigrants into the U.S. to work at its chicken processing plants. A prosecutor said it was Tyson's way of keeping the chickens moving and the profits flowing. Tyson, though, denied it all, and now a jury has agreed.
The company had blamed the government for improperly screening immigrants.
Well, federal transportation officials say the pilot of a small plane that crashed earlier this month near Prattsville was not qualified to fly in the foggy weather that day. 32-year-old Lewis Herring Jr. of Texas and his father both died in the crash on March 15th. Investigators say the plane hit a wire anchoring a radio tower.
At the Capitol, a bill that would consolidate small and underperforming schools could be dead, at least for now. The bill's sponsor, Senator Jim Argue, says there are concerns among lawmakers that can't be overcome. Now, under the proposal, school districts with fewer than 1,500 students would be at risk of consolidation. Senator Argue hopes the bill will come back up this fall during a possible special session dealing with education. And another disagreement at the Capitol, that special session that I just mentioned. Lawmakers know that all the education reform ordered by the state Supreme Court can't be done before the regular session is over. So they're trying to decide how and when they should finish. TJ Holmes joins us from the Capitol with a story tonight. TJ.
And there was never really any doubt among lawmakers that they would not be able to finish all of their work, especially on that important issue of education, before the couple of months of the regular session ended. Well, on this issue of when to come back and finish the work, like so many other issues they're facing, they can't agree. Governor Huckabee sent out a letter this morning proposing a special session. He sent it to all the legislators. Well, they would adjourn this regular session and then come back in the fall for a new session. That'd be the special session. That's the governor's plan. Well, less than 3 hours after the governor's letter went out, the Democratic leadership held a news conference opposing that idea. They agree, however, that they need to come back, but they want to simply extend the regular session, which they say would legally give them more options.
And the advantage would be we'd be able to carry those constitutional amendments forward so that we would be able to address Lakeview in some way if we needed to. Of course, that would be the whole purpose of us coming back.
Now, Representative Cleveland says that by coming back or by having the special session, they would be limited in the number of topics they could discuss, and he says they would also be limited in the amount of the number of constitutional amendments they could propose. He says those constitutional amendments may be crucial in getting education reform. Now, the governor today said, however, that by having the session the way that the legislators want to, having the regular session extended, that would also leave them up to legal challenges, and some of the work they would do during the recess in that extended session might be subject to a legal challenge and may have to throw it all out anyway. We sat down with the governor earlier today. We're going to hear more from him coming up tonight at 6 and explain this more in detail, Ann.
All right, TJ, thank you. By the way, that regular session is scheduled to end April 4th.
2 state senators want to put a monument on the Capitol grounds to commemorate the Little Rock Nine. Senators Tracy Steele and Irma Brown unveiled a model this morning that depicts the 9 students who led the fight to desegregate Central High back in 1957.
To simply depict the Little Rock Nine as a group as they appeared in 1957 is such a simple concept, but yet it's never been done before, and really I think that it's something that needs to be done at this time to sort of crystallize the memory of what happened back in 57.
Senators Steele and Brown have introduced legislation to secure funding for that project. The monument would be located on the North Capitol grounds, but no completion date has been set.
Well, for people with heart disease, survival depends greatly on early diagnosis.
The good news, detecting heart disease is now easier and faster. We'll show you the latest technology right here in Arkansas, coming up at 5:16.
Next, though, your forecast. There it is. The sun is returned, but we don't think it's going to stick around very long. Ed's going to explain after the break.
Today's THV is sponsored by the Prey Law Firm.
Unemployment rates go up. Jobs are less secure. Increased personal debt. Are you facing foreclosure, repossession, or garnishment?
Staying afloat in today's economy can be frustrating, but there is help. The Prey Law Firm is dedicated to helping the people of Arkansas who find themselves losing hope. The attorneys at the Prey Law Firm can help you find a solution to your financial problems that's right for you. Relief is just a phone call away. Get peace of mind despite today's tough times. Call the attorneys at the Prey Law Firm to find out about bankruptcy and your opportunity to get a fresh start.
Good friends and the great outdoors. Your Chevy dealers are making it easy to break out and enjoy both. Get the vehicle you want and make your money count. Get 0% APR for 60 months on a 2003 Chevy Tahoe or Suburban. Plus, GM owners get an additional $1,000 GM loyalty cash. Spring is the time to break out and make your money count. See your local Chevy dealer now.
Spring is here. Bird songs fill the air, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to save at the Kroger Spring Floral Frenzy. Right now, Pepsi 12-packs are 5 for $10. Tyson whole fryers are just 47 cents a pound. Gallons of Kroger milk are 2 for $4. And select Kroger brand items are 5 for $5. See store for details. The savings are in full bloom at the Kroger Spring Floral Frenzy. Don't miss it.
You're watching Arkansas's fastest growing news station with Ann Jensen, Karen Brady, Andy Pearson, and weather with Chief Meteorologist Ed Buckner. This is today's THV at 5.
If allergies aren't an issue, Ed, it's a beautiful time of year.
You're right. You know, I don't have allergies, so I sometimes, I guess I need to be lucky for that.
Yeah, I've been sneezing a lot lately, though.
Yeah, be thankful.
A lot of people suffer with those, and we'll have the pollen count coming up here in just a few minutes. It still shows quite a bit of tree pollen in the atmosphere. It's clear, though. Sunny skies and temperatures mild in the 60s right now. The birds are happy behind me. They're all chirping. Here's a look at the regional radar display from 4:30 in the morning. got it stopped here to show you that there were still showers, just rain showers in southeast Arkansas. But as we put this into motion, you notice the heavier storms down in Louisiana and parts of Mississippi. As it goes into motion, the rain quickly exited the state. By 6 o'clock this morning, we were dry. And right now we're looking at mostly clear skies with hardly any rain. The only rain down in Alabama, parts of southern Mississippi and Louisiana. So the rain is far, far away from us for the short term. It's coming back though. Here's the satellite picture, and you can see that definite clearing line early this morning in northwest Arkansas. And then right now, the only places experiencing cloud cover are parts of Jefferson County, Ashley and Chico counties as well. Down in extreme southeastern Arkansas, there are still a few clouds around, but most of the state has cleared out, and we're looking at mostly sunny skies. High pressure has built in behind the front. It's centered right over us. 64 the current reading, 63 up in Springfield, 61 over in Nashville, 62 Atlanta, ahead of the front, 70 in Panama City, 65 behind it in New Orleans with some showers nearby, 78 San Antonio and Brownsville, 67 Oklahoma City, 71 Dodge City, 59 Denver, 72 Amarillo, 75 in Midland. Here's the pollen count for you. Tree pollen has gone down a notch from what it was last week. It's now in the moderate range, and the mold is also low. Almanac data, 85 was our record high. That was in 1907. 19, it can get cold this time of year. 19 was the record low in 1955. I say that because we could be looking at a freeze in some locations by Sunday morning. Okay, more on that in just a second. But the average high is 67. Look how cool we were a year ago on this date. 1 year ago today, we only saw 49 for a high, and it was 36 for a low. But 67 is average, and we were at 65 today. 46 our low temperature, 48 and 68, 46 and 64 at the airport. It's still 64 degrees, dew point 42, so the humidity is low. Pressure's rising slightly, and the wind east at 7 miles an hour. Around the state, mostly 60s out there with a 70 coming in from Arkadelphia, 69 Hope, 66 Hot Springs, 63 Searcy and Stuttgart, Pine Bluff and Monticello, 67 El Dorado, 64 up in Batesville. Tonight, a mostly clear sky. Temperatures on the cool side, but real close to where they should be. Nothing unusual there with a low of 47. Tomorrow, a partly cloudy day. A lot warmer than today, about 10 to 12 degrees warmer tomorrow than today. Some places will be approaching 80 tomorrow with some southerly winds, 10 to 15 miles an hour, and that high should reach 76 degrees. Here's the extended outlook, and it does show, well, the storms continuing on Friday, and behind that storm system, cooler weather is expected. 56 on Saturday, and then Sunday morning a low of 33. So we could see some frost or freeze warnings issued as we head into the weekend since the growing season has begun. But usually we get another cold spell before Easter, and that looks like what we're going to get this weekend.
All right, I guess we can handle one more.
One more cold spell, yeah.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Well, possibly the biggest key to survival for heart patients is early detection.
If you know you're at risk, you can take precautions and head off a potentially deadly heart attack. Little Rock Doctor has new technology that can make early detection easier than ever before. I'll show you how it works next, just for you.
I was paying nearly $400 a month for my car payment. Crane Ford got me refinanced. Now my payment's only $220 a month.
It's true. No matter where you bought it, no matter what make or model, Crane Ford's exclusive refinance plan will lower your payment and keep more of your money in your pocket every month. Interest rates are at an all-time low. And thanks to Crane Ford, refinancing's not just for homes anymore. Plus, get 0% financing, rebates up to $4,000, and prices and payments to fit every budget on over 400 new Fords, Lincolns, and Mercurys. Proving the deals are better in Benton, and only the Crane team's got them.
You can search Central Arkansas for your next car or truck, but you have to go to I-430 at Colonel Glenn to get a clearance center price. The North Point Nissan Clearance Center. Rows and rows of cars, trucks, and SUVs. All at clearance center prices. Get more than you ever thought possible from people who know how to save you money. When we make a deal, we'll pay off your trade no matter what you owe. And you make no payments for 90 days. Don't pay what you don't have to. Don't pay the other guy's price. Get the clearance center price. Only at the North Point Nissan Clearance Center. I-430 at Colonel Glenn Road. The way you buy Nissan will change forever.
At Landers Toyota, we've been your #1 Toyota dealer for quite some time. Now it's time to really put things in motion. Right now, take $3,000 off Tundra Limiteds and get 0% financing on 03 Camrys. The lowest prices and the largest selection in the state, guaranteed. Landers Toyota.
It's new, it's painless, and you won't break a sweat. Well, that's how one local doctor is describing the newest technology used to look at your heart to see if it's healthy. Well, tonight, just for you, I'll show you how it works.
Once we get you hooked up and start taking the images, it'll only take just a matter of seconds, okay?
Less than a minute. That's all the time it'll take for this CT scanner to capture pictures of Freddie Kennedy's heart.
Real simple and easy.
At 78 years old, entering this scanner is a first for Freddie. It's another kind of first for the scanner's owner, Little Rock cardiologist Dr. Charles Fitzgerald.
We can zoom the picture in or make it smaller.
Fitzgerald's private cardiology practice is the first private practice in the nation to install this machine. It's technology Fitzgerald has been waiting for.
Because it obtains 16 slices every time the scanner spins, we're able to gain a large amount of data in a very short period of time. We call this 4D. That is to say, you're taking a three-dimensional object and rotating it in space. For the first time, in less than 20 seconds, in an outpatient setting, you can see the whole central circulation in the patient with just a small venous injection, no hospitalization, no invasive catheterization at all.
Which hasn't been the case until now. Fitzgerald says this procedure is easier on patients, like James Watkins.
Well, you never know what might be there that they can't see.
That's what motivated Watkins to get the scan. He wanted reassurance his 88-year-old heart was holding up. Dr. Fitzgerald says his heart looks good.
I've seen heart pictures before, but I've never seen anyone like this.
It's truly technology at your fingertips. The CT scan can actually look at your entire body. Dr. Fitzgerald says it also allows cardiologists to look closely at the aorta, the main pipeline that goes out of the heart. Until this technology, it was tough to pinpoint aorta problems. Well, Fitzgerald says this is a huge step in preventing heart disease by taking high-risk patients and hopefully catching heart problems early. Ann?
All right, coming up just for you tomorrow, how Arkansas women are potentially saving the lives of their friends. Now, it's generally recommended that women in their 40s have a mammogram every 1 to 2 years, and medical experts agree that all women over 50 should have one every year. That's why tomorrow, the American Cancer Society in Little Rock is hosting the Tell a Friend Phone-a-thon. Just stop by St. Vincent North in Sherwood between 4:30 and 6:30, and then you can call 5 or more of your friends to remind them to get their mammograms. Now, the calls are free, plus there's going to be food and door prizes out there, and I'm going to be out there live. That's tomorrow at St. Vincent North in Sherwood. Now, stick around after the break. A student from Camden Fairview will tell you what's cool at school. Students there are participating in a project that could benefit the entire state. Peyton Rafer will explain when we come back.
Little Rock, March Madness countdown is on! Northland Hyundai in North Little Rock, Southland Hyundai in Bryant, both pulling out all the stops. This is the best March in history to buy a new Hyundai. Accent $79.95. New cars for under $8 grand is madness. Santa Fe SUVs, March price $15,995. Every new Hyundai, no one can beat the price or the warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. March Madness, now at Southland Hyundai and Northland Hyundai. We'll do whatever it takes to make history.
Okay, oven mitt, time to get another roast out of the...
Look, it's Arby's new Italian beef and provolone.
The oven goodness of beef, roasted right in the store so it's juicy, not greasy, then marinated in Italian seasonings on a soft baguette.
Okay, I'll stop.
Try Arby's new Italian beef and provolone.
What are you eating today?
First, the women fought the men.
We are the Amazon chicks.
Now they live together.
They think that we are so stupid.
They're looking to go back at CBS tonight. On a special night, one castaway thinks he controls the game.
It's too good to be true.
But is he living a fantasy?
He's obnoxious. He's bossy.
Plus,
these boys are going to be sweating.
A survivor surprise that's going to blow the whole game.
Heidi, you want to do it?
Wide open.
Yeah, I'm not looking.
Don't miss an all-new Survivor on a special night. CBS tonight.
The Hyundai Sonata, ranked most appealing entry midsize car. More standard features than a Toyota Camry LE, including a V6 engine. Over $2,400 less when comparably equipped. Add in America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, and you win. Test drive the Hyundai Sonata, starting at just $14,524. At your Hyundai dealer. Hurry in for $1,000 cash back or 0% APR. Plus, current Hyundai owners get an extra $1,000 cash back through April 30th.
Well, those of you watching right now, and people all across the world, in fact, will soon get a chance to see all that Arkansas has to offer.
That's with the help of Southern Arkansas University Tech. Students at Camden Fairview are using technology to promote the state.
Peyton Rayford and some of his fellow students show us how they plan to do it.
It's this week's Cool at School Student Report.
One of the biggest things that you've got to understand when we're working in video.
This is the afternoon radio and television broadcasting class at the SAU Tech Career Academy in Camden. Now, this is really a do-your-own-thing class, with some students working on the school radio station, others working on Photoshop or a video project. But there's a new aspect of this class that is helping out communities across Arkansas. It's called the Great Arkansas DVD Project.
There's great footage all over the state, but really nobody knows how to get their hands on it. Nobody knows where it's at and how to get to it. So we now are stockpiling footage, and we will begin digitizing that soon.
Now, this is a huge undertaking by one class alone. Taylor estimates the class will have received well over 60 hours of video footage by the end of April.
We just have to take it on, work at it very hard, and figure out the parameters that we can work under. When we reach the limits, then we'll call on other universities in the states to help us out.
Working alongside the Arkansas Department of Economic Development, the class plans to have the videos ready for streaming on the internet, where it's available to tourists and potential businesses looking to locate in Arkansas.
They know that this could be a really good thing for the state of Arkansas, not only with the DVD project, but with the historical aspect as well.
Now, digitizing video footage is nothing new, but Arkansas will be the first state in the country to do this at a statewide level, something Taylor and his students are very proud of. Peyton Rayford, today's THV.
Now, everything you just saw in that story was completely done by students.
It was. And next week, Searcy students are going to show us what's cool at their school.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Now through Monday, the GM Giant Crane Chevrolet is tripling rebates up to $9,000. That's right, through Monday, Crane's tripling rebates up to $9,000. Plus, this just in. Current GM owners save an extra $1,000 in loyalty cash, or even 0% financing for up to 60 months. Payments as low as $179 down, $179 a month. Regular cab and extended cab Silverados, Blazers and Trailblazers, even Tahoes and Suburbans. Get to the GM Giant Crane Chevrolet before Monday for triple rebates on new Chevys only. The Crane team's got them.
Being in real estate means I get to do what I do best. Talk. Nights, Saturday evenings, Sundays, Sunday brunch. I talk all the time. But I do listen.
Singular's offering 5,000 night and weekend minutes plus 300 anytime minutes on plans starting as low as $29.99 per month. And you can get a free phone, too.
I like to call it the Don Cody, can I interest you in a 2-bedroom condo plan.
Come into Singular now to find the plan that fits you best.
Glaucoma can rob you of your vision without warning. However, it can be treated if caught in the early stages through regular checkups. John Tubb has glaucoma, but it doesn't slow him down anymore.
They sent a bus out for me. They started treating my eyes. Dr. McFarland got my eyes to where I don't have too much trouble with them anymore.
I would encourage anyone who's having any kind of eye problems to come see us. Almost always we're able to help people with eye problems in ophthalmology, so very satisfying.
I was paying nearly $400 a month for my car payment. Crane Ford got me refinanced. Now my payment's only $220 a month.
It's true. No matter where you bought it, no matter what make or model, Crane Ford's exclusive refinance plan will lower your payment and keep more of your money in your pocket every month. Interest rates are at an all-time low. And thanks to Crane Ford, refinancing's not just for homes anymore. Plus, get 0% financing, rebates up to $4,000, and prices and payments to fit every budget on over 400 new Fords, Lincolns, and Mercurys. Proving that the deals are better in Benton, and only the Crane team's got them.
We begin your Just Home headlines tonight with the latest in Iraq.
Despite sandstorms, ground troops are moving closer to Baghdad, and more than 3,000 chemical suits discovered today at a hospital in Iraq, signaling the country could be preparing to use chemical weapons. Also today, the UN began discussing how it would get humanitarian aid to Iraqis. A jury in Tennessee has acquitted Springdale-based Tyson Foods in an immigrant labor conspiracy trial. The company had been accused of smuggling illegal immigrants into the U.S. to work at its chicken processing plants. And at the state capitol today, lawmakers debated how they'll handle all the issues surrounding education reform. The governor wants to adjourn the session and pick it up in the fall. Democrats, though, say they want to both extend this session and meet for a special session.
Another pretty day on tap.
Another nice day tomorrow, actually. Take a look. Tomorrow we go into the 70s, 76 for a high. Still looking at a round of showers and storms on Friday, but not as strong as we once thought.
All right, thanks, Ed.
All right.
We'll have more local stories for you coming up at 6 after the CBS Evening News. Take a look.
I'm Liz Massey in Cabot. About 4,000 Arkansans have flocked to this website since the beginning of the war. Coming up at 6, I'll tell you why.
And also at 6, we're going to tell you about a bill at the Capitol that has the Humane Society of Pulaski County upset. They claim it would put the lives of innocent animals in danger. We'll have details on these stories and more in 30 minutes.
CBS Evening News is next, and we'll see you back here at 6.
Good night.
See ya.
At Lander Chevrolet.